Hi fans of high quality entertainment. I'm going to keep my arm up here like this so that you are watching me instead of my cat Jinx. Here she is. Here I am, right here, answering more viewer questions. This is part 2 and there's going to be a part 3 and then that's the end of it for a few weeks. This is a lot of work. Here we go. King Crafter 23. If John and George were still alive, do you think they would still be playing together? I wouldn't, like I've said in my last Beatles video, I wouldn't even care if they made any more music. It would just be nice to see the 4 of them together. You know, that's all. They gave us enough great music. Andrew Babay. Hey Larry, hello. I liked all the videos of your Blu-ray unboxing on your ASMR channel. So in relation to film, I was wondering, what are your thoughts on the James Bond series? Do you like it? If so, who is your favorite actor to portray the legendary spy and which are your favorite Bond films? I never got into the James Bond movies. I did see what's his name, Craig something, or his last name is Craig, and I saw one of the newer ones. I think it was released like 4 or 5 years ago at the theater. It was okay. The Baobabs. Hello Larry, my question is, what do you think was the best guitarist among the Beatles? You know what? As much as I love George Harrison, I think Paul McCartney can play a hell of a guitar. So, but I can't put down George Harrison at all. So, equally, Paul and George for me. Progressive Logic. Are you and Ken Domick still friends? From KBD Productions TV. And if so, are you guys ever going to do another video together? No, I don't want to get into it. It's kind of personal, but we're not friends. I feel kind of bitter about it all because when we were first collaborating, his channel was had much less subscribers than mine did, and then his, after we did, not that it's just because of me, but I did help him a little bit get more popular. Now he's got, I think, almost 350,000 subscribers, and I just stopped hearing from him. So, you know, just some, I don't want to get into it. Next question. The Astronomy Floyd. What's your top 10 Beatles B-sides? That would take too long in this video. But one of my favorites is Old Brown Shoe. Revolution's not bad either. I might do a top 10 Beatles B-sides though. That might be interesting at some point. Thank you. Tumas Aho. Hi Larry, I would like to ask what keeps you motivated to upload videos on a daily basis? Where do you find your motivation to keep it going all these years? One more question, why don't you go to a Nickelback concert? Thank you for your videos. It's just what I love to do. I don't do it. Now I get paid, you know, with the ads on my videos, which is great. It's like a nice little bonus per month. But I've never been motivated by money. In fact, when I started YouTube the first couple of years, there was no advertising, and I just did it on a daily basis because I love it. And I'm just always getting video ideas. I do remember my stepbrother's wife asking me about a year ago, don't see them very often, and she asked me, do you still make YouTube videos? And it's kind of like, I guess some people don't understand it. It's not like It's like asking a guitarist, are you still playing guitar? It's like something I love to do, and I'm always going to be doing it, I think. Up until I'm 98 years old. Then I'm going to retire. That's right, you just keep sleeping. So all the attention is focused on me. And by the way, I do have, these are bifocals, but I still always prefer, instead of, I'd have to go like this to read them, so I just go like this. And I'd already answered this one in the part 1, so just watch that if you haven't heard the question. I just don't want to talk about it. Progressive Logic. Hey Larry, are you and your lady friend still together? And by the way, love your videos. I'm single, but we're still friends. The Astronomy Floyd. I already did that one. Oh, the Nickelback concert thing. I'd love to see a Nickelback concert. Harvey Jones. Hi Larry, are you a fan of Rage Against the Machine? I just never got into them. Carrie, where were you on 9/11 and your thoughts at the time? I was at work, working at Quinny Plastics here in Trenton, Ontario. And the job I had, it was making plastic bags, and so I could listen to I brought my ghetto blaster to work, and I could listen to music all day long if I wanted to, for the most part, depending on the job. And so I was listening to, believe it or not, U2's Beautiful Day. I was listening to the album All That You Can Leave Behind. And a co-worker got my attention, and I took off my headphones, and he was telling me what was on the radio. Of course, it was the 9/11 news. Bill Griffin, I hope the vasectomy and the lost your virginity stories didn't both happen on the same day. That's on my ASMR channel, which you should subscribe to. Lots of funny stories on that channel, and unboxings and all kinds of crap. Angelo Delfino. Who would you nominate as the opening band for a Paul McCartney concert? Sparks. But he doesn't need an opening band. When I saw him in 2010, he played for 3 hours straight. That's enough music. And he was amazing, and he never even took a drink during the whole concert. Not a single drink of water. And he played, no intermission or anything, 3 hours straight. See Nickelback do that. Clara, have you ever been to one of the Beatles concerts? Have you ever been to one of the Beatles concerts, but when they were solo? I sort of understand that. I never saw the Beatles in concert, but I saw Paul McCartney. Chase the Sun, why don't you ever talk about 90s music? I would love to hear your thoughts, or even a video about your favorite songs from the 90s. I'd have to look up the 90s and see what songs were released in that decade, but I love Pearl Jam and the Arcade Fire and some 90s bands. I'm pretty hip. Lord Ithkos. Do you know about Ariel Pink? He's a modern indie artist that makes psychedelic pop rock. He's lovely in my opinion. His 2014 album Porn Palm is in my all-time top 10. Quite similar to Zappa. I've never heard of him. I might have heard of his name actually, but I've never heard his music. But if I have the time, I will check him out. I'll Google him. I'll YouTube him. And he also asks, what's your opinion on Nick Drake? His album Pink Moon from 1972, where every track is based on his severe depression, is definitely one of my all-time favorites. I have heard his albums. I'd have to listen to them more, and then maybe I'd get into them a bit more. Ethan Work, who's your favorite drummer? Now that's different from who's the best drummer. My favorite drummer is obviously Ringo Starr. I also love Keith Moon and John Bonham. The Unknown Mystery, who's your favorite singer in the Beatles? Well, when I was into the Beatles in the 60s, it was definitely John Lennon. Now it's pretty equal. It's Paul and John. I can't choose because I feel Paul is a really underrated singer. "2003 See Pain. Did you lose interest in Neil Young? I noticed you don't have that big box anymore. One other thing, do you think you will ever make a video on Deep Purple?" Yes, I'm planning to hopefully I might do a rank the songs on Deep Purple's Machine Head from worst to best. And as for Neil Young, I still have quite a few Neil Young albums. There's only certain CDs of his, though, that I really love, and other ones I just like. For instance, I love Trans and Landing on Water. Trying to remember. Not two of his most popular albums, but I love them because they're Neil. Janik Berej, what is your favorite song by the band? Life is a Carnival. And also from Cahoots, When I Paint My Masterpiece. I bet you didn't know it was written by Bob Dylan. Anthony Della Barba. Hey Larry, do you like or ever heard Oasis? They had some Beatles inspirations. People ask me about Oasis once in a while, and I've heard them. I have no interest in them. I don't like them as people, especially Liam Gallagher. So, no thanks. Not to say they don't have talent. Jinx, check up. Good girl. Joseph Kraft. How many CDs do you have, and how much would you estimate that you've spent on CDs? Oh my God. Way, way, way too much. But in the past few months, I've sold quite a few CDs or given CDs away because I just don't listen to them like I used to. And I listen to a lot of music on Spotify. So you see the CDs I have here, it's like, wow, he's got a lot of CDs. But see, it's empty down there. I even sold a few of my Frank Zappa CDs that I never played. And then I've got some CDs there too. And some movies and stuff there. Lee Maloney. 2 questions, Larry. Just 1 question. Will you be getting the new Pink Floyd early years box set? No, no interest in it. And do you like Depeche Mode? You're a good man, thank you. Depeche Mode I never got into. I listened to their music and it just not my thing. But if you like them, that's cool. Go to sleep. Stephen Anderson, love you. Thank you. I like you. Woolly Will, any good albums you recommend listen to? I just had a couple of really nice comments on Sparks because I've done Sparks videos and recommended them, and people have become fans of Sparks. I just had an email today saying thanks for recommending Sparks. He checked out some videos on YouTube and he became a big fan. So I'd say check out Sparks. But take your time because they have a variety of music. This person's asked a question before. How would you pronounce that? Loon Time. Why are you so cool? It's just the way I was born. Bungalow Craig's Vinyl. Are you related to Jim Carrey in any way? Because you sure remind me a lot of him in your mannerisms and comedy, LOL. Thanks for making videos and making me laugh over the years. Take care. Peace. I'm not related to Jim Carrey at all. But thank you for the compliment. Although maybe I am related because he was born in Ontario, Canada, and I was born in Ontario, Canada. Hey Jinx, this is the video that never ends. Matthew Johnson, I am a massive Beatles fan, but I have the balls to admit that they wrote some absolute garbage. What are your thoughts on this? I personally can't stand the idiots that say the Beatles have no bad songs. The Beatles have no bad songs. Brian Emanuel. Hey Larry, my question is, are you a wrestling fan? I know wrestling is huge in Canada, and some of the best wrestlers of all time come from Canada. The Hart family, the fabulous Roguus, Chris forget it, Chris Jericho. Just wondering if you are or were a fan. Nope. The only sport I was into big time was hockey, and I did a video a few weeks or months ago on the Toronto Maple Leafs, so just type in Toronto Maple Leafs on my front channel if you want to hear the story. It's really, really exciting. SpiderPig541. That's weird. That was going to be my actual name instead of Canadian Studmuffin, but I decided on Canadian Studmuffin. What are your feelings on the music business today being mostly a singles-driven business? Do you feel like albums were a much better format to focus on, or it doesn't really matter as long as the music is good? I think it's sad because it really is focused on songs. So I'm not saying all of the youth are focused on just singles or whatever, but a lot of young folks are. They don't understand the album format, the excitement of listening to the first song and going through the whole album to the end. Mr. Lux in the Tux. I like that username. That is awesome. Hi Larry. Sorry I haven't commented in a while. I'll let it go this time, okay? But thanks for doing another one of these Ask Larry Graves videos. My question, do you like the band Talking Heads? They've recently become one of my favorite bands. Thanks again. Yes, in fact, I guess it's probably not on my channel now, but check, because maybe it is. I did do a top 10 Talking Heads video. And if it's not on my channel, I'll have to redo it at some point. I love Talking Heads. One of my all-time favorite albums is Fear of Music. It would be in my top 50 albums of all time for sure. Visions. What do you think about the Hard Rock Cafe closing down in Toronto? I didn't know anything about it, and I've never been to the Hard Rock Cafe, so I have no opinion on it. Sorry. Sarcastic clickbait. Good username. Are you doing more Beatles stuff? Thank you so much for what you have done in my life. You are a great man with awesome skills. I guess he hasn't seen me play guitar. Thank you. Also, if you get this, may you do a shout out for me. It would really help my channel. Thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, please check out and subscribe to Sarcastic Clit. Be serious here, I'm promoting somebody. Ladies and gentlemen, all of my fans on YouTube, please check out and subscribe to Sarcastic Clickbait. That could get you in trouble. Aaron Trevino, questions. How old are you? I just turned 59 years old, and I don't dye my hair. And with my new hairstyle, I now look 58 years old. See, there's gray coming in here. And then it says read more. I guess he asked more questions, but when I printed it up, sorry. Next time. Been fishing for Jesus agape. Something like that. Have you started watching your new Batman TV shows? If you were asked to be a villain, what would your character be called, and what special talent would you use to capture the dynamic duo? I'd love to be the Riddler. The Riddler's awesome. And I've only seen the, I did an unboxing on my ASMR channel for my Batman box set. And I've only seen the special features so far, the specials on them and all that. And I love it. And I'm going to enjoy watching the series, for sure. Mike Bass. Ever have deja vu? If so, what do you think causes it? Mike Bass. Ever have deja vu? If so, what do you think causes it? Nope. Sebastian Afsar. Kashmira. Why don't you talk more about Rush? Thanks. Rush is awesome. In fact, when their second album, Fly By Night, came out on vinyl back in 1974, I bought it. They weren't that popular back then, but I was into Rush before a lot of Rush fans were. And I bought quite a few of their albums through the years. I don't have any Rush CDs, but that doesn't mean I don't respect and love Rush. And I can always listen to their music on Spotify if I want. They have all of their albums there. But they are definitely one of the most talented bands of all time. Tyler Sovlov. Hey Larry, I got a few questions for you. Have you ever seen Frank Zappa live? Nope. Have you ever listened to Tom Waits? If so, what's your favorite album? I've heard his music, and I know I would have most likely become a fan if I'd really taken the time to listen to his albums, but I never did. I love Randy Newman and Captain Beefheart, and he's kind of similar to them in some ways. And so I definitely would have. I respect him though. But. And why is your voice so why is your voice so soothing? It's so soothing that people told me they find it relaxing and that I should start up an ASMR channel, and that's why I did. So subscribe. The final page, and then part 3, which isn't quite, probably not going to be quite as long. Probably. Mark P. How does a Canadian stud muffin differ from us American stud muffins? There's only one stud muffin, and that's me. Doesn't matter about the nationality or anything. Craft TV. Mark P. Ooh, that's a great question, Larry. Can I be the British stud muffin, please? Thanks. No. Marcus Nichols. How do you determine the order for your top 10 lists? Good question. I don't take it that seriously. And for instance, I might do a Beatles top 10 songs, right? And then a few months later, maybe even a few weeks later, it could be a little different. It's just depending on the moment, I guess. And your opinion also does change from year to year, so, yep, for any band. Stephen 2513, what is the longest you have ever lived in one house? What is the shortest you've ever lived in a house? Probably. Most likely with my second wife from 2004. Yeah, 2004 to 2012. That's 8 years. And with my first wife, maybe with my first wife, Nancy, from 1993, yeah, 1993, yeah, it'd be 11 years, I think, in one house. And the shortest, I don't even know. I don't want to think about that right now. James Watson, what is your opinion on Helter Skelter potentially being the first heavy metal song? It's just something to, discuss and for people to argue over, which I think is silly. But I agree, it has to be one of the, if not the first heavy metal song. Michaela Murray, Michaela Murray. What are your top 3 favorite 60s bands? The Beatles, the Rolling Stones, and it'd be between the Kinks and the Who. And I love 60s Kinks and 60s Who. I'm going to have to go with the Kinks at the moment. I might change my mind next week, though. Dave Johnson, what do you find most satisfying about making YouTube videos? Very good question. Well, first of all, being totally honest, it's nice to get a little payment per month for doing something that I love to do, making YouTube videos. But the thing I love the most is when my viewers, my fans, hi fans, comment on the videos and give me feedback. I really appreciate that. 45 Records Man, what are your favorite novelty songs? Also, what inspired you to write that odd foot fetish novelty tune a long time ago? For novelty songs, I'd really have to think that over for, I'm not even sure what a novelty song is. So I can't really answer that one, but the song, I've had it as different titles. I think it's called the Sock Song at the moment. Just type in search on my front page for fetish or something and you'll see a sock pop up. It's just a silly song. I used to write a lot of songs. I wrote one song called Urinary Tract Infection. I just like making people laugh. But with that video, I actually got quite a few serious comments on people that actually had foot fetishes and they're going on about my sexy feet in the video. And trust me, I don't have sexy feet. Jinx has sexy paws compared to my feet. We're almost done here. Nicholas Lemucci, I didn't know you were left-handed. I am too. I didn't know I'm left-handed because I'm not left-handed. As I've said, I just play the guitar this way. I just feel more comfortable this way, but I am right-handed. I just don't, it's always felt awkward holding it this way. Final question. George Weller 1. Do you ever hear the velvety smooth sound of your own voice and slip spontaneously into a blissful slumber? Also, how is Jinx? She's sleeping right now, so I don't know. Actually, for the first few years on YouTube, I don't think anybody ever mentioned my voice being soothing and relaxing, and it's just been maybe since the advent of these ASMR videos on YouTube where people are whispering and crinkling paper and all that. I started getting a lot of comments on my voice. Well, I guess people used to say you have a perfect voice for radio for many years. And then it got into I should do ASMR videos and I have a soothing voice, very relaxing. Puts a lot of people to sleep. It's amazing. And so that's it. I'm almost done. I'll have part 3. I usually just duck when there's silence. I'll have part 3 in 2 or 3 days. And thank you all for watching. Have a great day. Remember to please leave a comment below and thumbs up the video. And check out my ASMR channel with my story on being the world's worst security guard. Bye.